It means to be a man, dude. I don't know the answer to that.
So, where to start with this? Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know how much time you have.
Okay, so
Can you send that to me, Eliot? It's my fucking necklace.
Wait, you want him to send you that?
Oh, that's my masculine.
There's a black one right there. Alright,
Bitch.
Leighton,
I just
ready?
totally lost my. Oh, you got it.
Hey, wait, my mic.
What it means to be male, what it means to be masculine, and trying to first see clearly and then evaluate and then maybe deconstruct a lot of those messages.
What does it mean to me to be a man? The thing is, I mean, I don't even consider myself a man yet, I wouldn't say, you know? I'm still like so early in like the process of even just like finding out who I am, like regardless of like, you know, what it, like, I'm not, because like I'm not even an adult yet, you know? Like I'm still like trying to figure all that stuff out, so.
I think that, you know, societally, there are a lot of kind of, obviously, there's a relationship between being a man and being strong and being, you know, masculine and everything that goes with that, and kind of being almost like a protector.
Yeah, my parents always made it clear to me that being a man didn't involve what was expected of being a man. It involved what I personally thought was expected of being a man and what truly matters for being a man. Not being tough, not being strong, not being like not showing your not showing your emotions, things like that. They were just basically like, you don't have to follow the stereotypes of what's expected of being a man. You can be a man in your way, and that's all that matters.
Also, I have a lot of sympathy for boys and for men. Just especially, and the younger they are, the more sympathy I have for them, right? Because they're just coming into the world and they're trying to figure out what it means to be male, what it means to be a man. And there are a lot of, I think, confusing and messages, and also I think a lot of pressures to conform to a system, which fundamentally I think is really unhealthy. So.
Honestly, I don't know. It feels kind of, it takes a lot of trust to be vulnerable to someone, you know. And at the same time, it also, you lose a feeling of control you have over yourself, you know, once your thoughts and feelings go out into the world. They're up for grabs from anyone, you know, mal or good intentions, right? So you have more control if you're able to kind of keep it in a little bit.
I think it's difficult to talk about this topic unless you first really you talk about ideology. And the way that I think of ideology is a very large, perhaps almost total and complete value system that's kind of overlaid onto the world. And patriarchy is an ideology which has been around for a very, very long time. And in the simplest terms, patriarchy means the men make the laws, make the rules. But I think that that's sort of that's just the entry point in. To understand patriarchy more clearly, I think we have to understand that it pervades every part of our lives, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're non-binary, whether you're an adult, whether you're a child. It's just everywhere.
I think it's really hard to be a girl, but it's also really hard to be a guy, and I don't know if that's like addressed enough, because yeah, I think toxic masculinity, it like encourages this like kind of repression of like feelings.
Pressures job in society, man. I feel like I'm like expected to be like more almost like perseverant, or be able to like kind of like hold things in more.
I think toxic masculinity is when boys feel like they need to be the man of the household, the strongest, not show any emotion, brave, Yeah.
I don't really express affection very often, but a lot of my friends do. So like, I don't have any brothers, right? So a lot of my really, really good friends are like brothers to me, you know. And some people that I've known since I was like 2 or 1, you know. And every once in a while, when someone is like, you know, every once in a while, one of them says like, "Yo, I love you, bro," and I'm just a little, and it takes me back because I'm like, you what? No. Am I reading into this wrong? You know, yeah, I know what you mean. You know, or like one tries to give me a hug, unless you know if it's getting a little too soft, I got firm up a little bit, so it's not this. You know, it's not. There's no questions asked about what's going on in the hug. I guess there's a way of saying it.
Like, I feel like it's like weirder for me. Like when I see like a man cry, it's still really weird. Like, you know, like when you're little, it's weird to see like an adult cry, you know, it's like what? Like it's like so out of the ordinary. And I feel like that's kind of what it's like almost to see, or even for me, like when I've like cried, I'm like this, like in front of people that like I know well, it's like, this is weird, you know?
Some of the boys that I'm friends with, they'll like start getting vulnerable. They'll start saying something, and then they'll like cut themselves off. They're like, but it doesn't matter. It's not important. And I'm like, but no, like it's fine. Or they'll get vulnerable with me and they'll apologize. And they're like, I'm sorry, I didn't want you to see me like that. And I'm like, why? Like, it's okay. We're all human. We all have these emotions. The society we live in just tells you not to show them. And that's really, I think that it's really hard. And even as a girl, I feel that. And I know that it's harder. It's like that's amplified for male people.
It feels like I'm like subconsciously kind of like telling myself that I need to like suppress some things and like some emotions, or at least not express them in ways that seem weak. I guess that's what I would say. I don't know. I mean, it's like just anything, like just any emotion. Like say if I'm like really mad or if I'm really sad or something. And I mean, recently, you know, I mean, like obviously I know that's stupid, right? Like that's ridiculous. You know, you should be able to like express all of your emotions, like regardless if you're a man or not, you know?
A lack of empathy and a lack of expression that in turn hurts like a lot of other people as well. I think that toxic masculinity like directly affects, you know, guys and men, but also can affect everybody else.
But yeah, it's pretty stupid, not gonna lie. And it's probably a pretty stupid thing I do, but I can't really help it. It's built into me at this point.
I think toxic masculinity is a mold created by society about how men are supposed to act and present themselves and talk and treat people. And everybody talks about how it's about vulnerability, and it is about vulnerability, but I think it's about more than that. And I feel like I remember in middle school, the boys that were better at sports got more recognition than the boys that are better at drawing. And like the boys who like got upset and cried in class would be kind of like scoffed at. And I think toxic masculinity is an inhuman standard of how boys are supposed to be this one unrealistic way.